preview you are about to watch is for a movie that is unlike any you have ever seen before. It is for a movie that goes beyond temporary fear to everlasting terror. It is a movie called Demons. Yes, the demons are coming, and they're coming for you. Warning, if you have the courage to see demons, sit near an exit. Otherwise, you might never get out. In your theater, who will survive the touch of the demons, and who will not? Demons. With music by Billy Idol, Motley Crue, The Adventures, Rick Springfield, and Saxon. This is no dream. This is happening right now. And it could be happening to you. Demons. They will make cemeteries their cathedrals, and the cities will be your tombs. Will you survive it? Demons.
Welcome to Rat Salad Review and happy Halloween. That's right, it's October. So we are going to do a lot of Halloween related type things. Right, right, Lou?
Yes, not Halloween, but Halloween.
No, we are done with Halloween. You will not hear of Halloween on this show for a long time.
Till the next album comes out.
Pretty much. Well, yeah, I said, let's do some Halloween inspired things. And everybody got to pick their Halloween theme. So each week is going to be one of our things. And this week, we're going to start with Lou's theme. This is actually the first pick I've let you have on Rat Salad Review, Lou.
Ever.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the Journey Dream After Dream raised on radio, but Greg and I said, let's do a Journey episode, and we each picked one random album. But yeah, this is my first pick for Rat Salad Review officially. So it took me 9 months, but I made it.
How does it feel?
Oh, like I carried the weight of a baby, but it feels great.
All right. So what did you pick?
Oh, just by the way, real quick,
What's
in
that?
honor of Eddie, because it is 1 year from his passing. So God bless you, Eddie. We miss you.
Yes, we do.
So my first pick is two films, the Demons films, Demons 1 and 2, or as they call it in Italy, Demoni e Demoni 2. Directed by Lamberto Bava and produced by the maestro himself, Dario Argento.
Yes, I was very afraid to watch these movies, knowing some of the other movies that he's done, but they weren't as bad as I thought they were going to be. They were interesting.
Say that.
Yeah, they're very interesting movies. I'll probably never ever watch these movies ever again.
That's okay. He has my Shudder account now, so he can watch whatever the hell he wants.
I do. Yes, I do. Yeah, there's some interesting other movies on there I probably will watch.
You want to watch Cannibal Holocaust? It's on there.
No, I don't want to watch that one. I've heard enough about that from your podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there. So my wife's a huge horror movie enthusiast, so she'll be checking all that shit out.
Good. Merry Christmas to your wife. There you go.
Yeah, thank you very much. But yeah, so anyway, the first time I've seen these movies, and they were interesting. Greg, I'll let you go first because you just watched these as well. So
yeah, well, the first one, I mean, I love. It's just over the top, wall to wall gore. It's that dude riding that motorbike at the end and decapitating a shitload of people with a samurai sword to fast.
Ubarno Barberini, the greatest.
One of the best scenes ever in any movie. I mean, the Library of Congress, even though it's an Italian film, should preserve this just for that one scene alone. I mean, that's epic.
And you kind of ruined that for me, Lou, because you showed us the thing on.
I had to convince you that you needed to watch this film. There's no other way to convince anyone to watch this film. It's like when you show people, when you recommend Lucio Fulci's Zombie, you have to show them the scene between the shark and the zombie and figure out who's going to win.
I was waiting for that.
You have to show this film.
I was waiting for that scene though the whole time. I'm like, when are they going to get to the freaking the motorcycle, or dirt bike?
Well, really, I mean, even though it's an unintentional black comedy, and I think part of what makes it great is they went into it seriously. But and really, it's just some of the effects and shit look silly. I think the idea actually behind the movie, them watching this possessed or supernatural film and having the movie influence real life and the demons come out, and start possessing these people and turning them and shit is really a brilliant idea. And other than being a little confusing, where I think some extra writing would have helped, but it's a B movie, so whatever. I can deal with just chalking up the doors suddenly being bricked off to supernatural magic. I mean, come on, you got 3 punkers sniffing coke out of a Coca-Cola can. That makes up for the movie's shortcomings alone.
To the music of Go West, mind you.
Yes. And actually, I think Motley Crue's Save Your Souls at the beginning of the movie within a movie was actually a really good choice. It fits pretty well, especially
Agreed.
with the demons theme.
Yeah, that was the other cool thing about this movie is the soundtrack. I thought the soundtrack was really good. I was tapping my toes to every song that came on there. My wife was probably like, "How does he know all these songs in this movie?" But it was cool to hear like the Motley Crue and then the Accept and all the other bands that were in there. So it was cool. And but like Greg said, some things did confuse me. But after he did mention about the supernatural powers with the building being locked up, and I'm like, all right, I kind of see that now, because even in the second movie, and we'll get to that later, it kind of the same things happen. So now I understand more about the demons, doing their powers or whatever to keep everybody in there.
Honestly, the only thing that really, because some of the mistakes is just shit you look at and you gotta accept,
Right.
like it's a B movie. Like they shot most of it in Berlin, but the movie theater was in Rome. So at certain points when they transitioned from the subway to the theater initially, all the signs and shit are in German. Then all of a sudden everything's in Italian. That's a little weird and funny, but I bet you most people wouldn't notice that. But the one inconsistency that drove me nuts watching both of these movies again years later is, these demons have these super sharp claws, and for the most part, they turn and rip up whoever the fuck they touch. But when the people they want to live until the end of the movie get grabbed by the demon, their claws don't scratch them all of a sudden. Like, what the
Right.
Did Jesus bless these people? I need some more backstory here, but it's still fun and enjoyable without that. The aforementioned scene with the motorbike, even the movie within a movie with the idea of Nostradamus and that mask and everything. And the weird guy in the beginning handing out the tickets, which maybe one of the most confusing things, because he's got like half a mask on, and it might make people think, hey, maybe this is going to be a Phantom of the Opera type thing, but it's not. Right. Why isn't the mask cold? Is he only half a demon?
Right. Yeah. None of that was really explained, so it's kind of weird.
I guess you guys didn't notice that the actor that had the half mask on was also one of the actors in the movie within the movie.
No, I did not.
He was. That is played by Michele Soavi, the director of
The Church,
and Cemetery Man, or Della Morte dell'Amore.
Yep.
So
what significance that has with anything, I don't know. But I mean,
which character was he in the movie, though?
One of the two guys. There's 2 guys and 2 girls and a shit ton of demons. So he's one of the 2 guys. He was the curly-haired one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the taller one that cracks open the tomb.
Okay.
There's no bones in here.
The one thing I saw, a big mistake was it's so stupid too. How that girl had to have that Coke They got the Coke and they're all sitting there watching the movie. All of a sudden, one of the scenes, she switches over and she's drinking a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
I noticed that like right away. I thought that
apparently
was
aspartame is safer than cocaine.
right. But I love that scene when those guys are driving in the car and they're sniffing Coke from a Coke can. That was hilarious. And that was probably like my favorite part of the whole movie, really.
When you put it that way, it just makes it much funnier.
It does. Me and my wife just started cracking up when we saw that because I'm like, why are they sniffing Coke? Oh, I get it now.
It's trying to be edgy. It's 1985.
Yeah, and they were pretty edgy, but yeah, that was a really cool scene. It was pretty funny.
That the one of the scenes in the car was actually the reason why the film got banned in a couple of countries. The scene where the cocaine falls on the girl's breast, and they take it off with a razor. They actually they had to edit that scene out in some countries, or it couldn't be shown. So out of every scene, that was the one that bothered some European censors.
I could see that, I guess. Yeah. What else? The scene where they got into the movie theater. Well, when that guy let him in. We're kind of going all over the place with this movie, but the blind guy.
Oh, Vernon. Yes.
Yeah. When he let him in.
Liz, don't touch this.
Yeah.
And he's another one. He gets his eyes ripped out. I mean, Demon's face was literally in his fucking brain.
Yeah, and he's still alive.
Turn him into a demon. And then he's the one that gets let out of the movie theater and then turns everybody else outside into a demon. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if he just banged into a wall the whole time?
Yeah. It's so funny. Like the blind guy started the whole thing on the outside of the movie theater. Where everybody turning into demons.
Also, Tony the Pimp has the best dialogue out of everyone.
The whole entire movie.
He's like Dolomite and Fred Williamson in one.
Right.
And it's like, it's the one guy you want to live.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he would have been all the way to the end of the movie, but unfortunately he wasn't. But he was probably my favorite part.
Oh, hold on. Spoilers, people. We're going to have spoilers this episode.
Spoilers.
Oh, we already have.
And that girl that was running, like taking the tickets at the movie theater, I thought maybe she somehow had something to do with something and ended up really not having to do anything because she was acting pretty mysterious and, funny during that whole scene when they were letting everybody in, but she had nothing to do with anything. She was just
the whole thing when she's first going through with the usher with the flashlight. It looks like it's setting up for something. But then as soon as the demon pops through the fucking movie screen, she's all of a sudden just as scared and running around like everybody else.
Right.
High pockets, bitch.
So Lou, what's your favorite? Because you picked these movies. So what's some of your favorite things about this movie?
If I could give a little backstory to how I discovered them first.
Sure.
So this is in 2002. Anchor Bay had released 3 box sets of the Dario Argento collection, and this actually came as a 2-pack, not Tupac, but 2-pack. And I remember them really not being expensive, and Best Buy had like a shit ton of them. They had that. They had Lucio Fulci films. At one point, Anchor Bay was just like the best DVD company to re-release Italian films completely unedited, and Italian horror is my favorite horror. And I had never watched this film, but I knew of Dario Argento because he co-produced Dawn of the Dead with George Romero back in 78, 79. So the name Dario Argento already stuck with me. So I was looking for his films, Suspiria and this and Tenebrae and Inferno and Phenomenon, which I recommend all those films, and Profondo Rosso, Deep Red.
The Bird with Crystal Plumage is one of my personal favorites.
That's a good one too, and so is Cat of Nine Tails. So yeah, he started as a mystery thriller director, but then worked his way into horror. Now, by this point, Demons, he was producing, not directing, because I think he had already finished Phenomenon. And I saw the box set at Best Buy, and what struck me about it was that it had a heavy metal soundtrack. And I was like, wait a minute, I never knew any Italian films to use, metal songs from bands I knew. but apparently Argento's been making a habit of it. All of his films are scored by either the band Goblin, the Italian progressive rock band, or by members of Goblin. Claudio Simonetti, who's the keyboardist of Goblin, he does the score for this film. And I saw it had music from bands like Saxon and Billy Idol, and I think it was Pretty Maids, right? Was that one of them?
Might have been on there.
It might have been Pretty Maids, but for some reason they mislabeled it as the Scorpions on the box on the DVD. So I don't know. And obviously Motley Crue and whatever. And I was just like, oh, I really got to check this out. And it's in the second film, which we'll get to later. So I picked it up along with Suspiria and took it home, and I wanted to watch this first because me being, a 20-year-old metalhead, I wanted to hear some metal in my horror. And I watched it and I'm like, this is the weirdest freaking thing, but I couldn't help but love it, because you have to appreciate the fact that the special effects are not CGI'd. I mean, they're made by master craftspeople.
Right.
And, Argento is nuts when it comes to how his films are lit. And I thought this film was lit beautifully. And, the fact that you're in a movie theater, which at one point before the pandemic, I used to love going to the movies. So I was like, oh, cool. Murder in the movie theaters. That's great. All right, this is cool to watch. And, combine that with, the blood and the gore and the complete 1980s fashion and hairstyles, and hearing the music of Except Fast as a Shark playing while a dude's decapitating zombies with a katana blade on a motorcycle. What is not to love? So, I fell in love with this film immediately. The scene that is one of my favorite scenes of all time, but the one scene that still to this day confuses the living shit out of me. Where did the helicopter come from that crashed through the ceiling of the movie theater?
Yes.
Yes, that was very weird. Out of nowhere. At least they gave him a way out.
That's not a thing that makes you go, that's the thing that makes you go, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was a pretty weird little ending there.
Yeah, that's pretty out of fucking nowhere. I mean, you can pretty much forgive everything up to that point as just little mistakes, but that is just, how the hell are we going to get him out of here? Let's drop a helicopter through the ceiling.
Do not adjust your television. This does not make any logical sense. We know.
And that was a Pretty Made song, Night Danger. But in the U.S. movie version, it says. So, I don't know.
Right. So I guess Scorpions was what? Only in the European version?
I guess
Scorpions have a song in the original Italian language version.
It was Dynamite off of the Blackout album. That's supposed to be, that would have been really cool to have heard as they were trying to rip their way out of the movie theater before the demons took them over. That would have been really cool. Mm-hmm. I love the song. I know you're not a Scorps fan, Wayne, but I love the album Blackout, and I love the song Dynamite.
Right, you're allowed to like it.
Thank you.
It's fine.
Yeah, Scorpions rule. I mean, 70s Scorpions is best, but Blackout's awesome too.
Agreed.
Yeah, but the other thing too, the end of the movie, where they're all trying to escape, and he passes the cop car. I'm like, come on, it's running and ready to go, get it in and go. But yet they decide to run through the streets, and see all the demons, and try to run away from that. And then they finally catch up with the people in the Jeep.
Yeah, eating sandwiches.
Yeah, eating sandwiches, and then the kids got the gun or whatever, and then what else happened?
All of a sudden it went from Berlin to Kentucky.
yeah, it did, and then they go off, and you're thinking, all right, everything's cool. This is going to lead off into the second movie, and then all of a sudden the girl turns into a demon, and then
scare.
Yeah, and then they kill her, and then that's the end of that.
Now, if this were a Clint Eastwood movie, he probably would have said "dead weight" at the end of it, but he didn't.
No, he did not.
You could tell he was sad to see her go, but that's okay, man. You'll get another chick. You know how to decapitate people on the back of a motorcycle with a katana. Good stuff. No Bavarini. El Grande.
Oh God, yeah. So it was cool. It's a very interesting movie, and also too, my favorite parts of is the black guy. I mean, the way he was overdubbed with his voice was hilarious. Even the girls too. And I didn't expect the black woman to be the first demon in the movie, so that was kind of interesting. And then seeing her friend got turned into it as well, and her friend actually didn't do much in the movie. I don't remember. She came out
except die.
Yeah, she came out through the screen and then died a few minutes later. That was the end of it. That's kind of strange.
Okay. Well, my mistake. His name is Bobby Rhodes, not Bobby Steele. And the actress, her name is Garetta Giancarlo, aka Garetta, who's an American actress who found most of her work in Italy, and she's the star of many Italian exploitation films, including Shocking Dark. What else? She's also in Rat's Night of Terror. Yes, they used gerbils and hamsters, painted them black, and just threw them at people. And I'm like, don't kill them. I mean, I don't want to see animals die. It's bad enough I saw Cannibal Holocaust, but I just think they just threw a bunch of them at them and pretend to die. But we love Garetta here, so yay.
So yeah, I thought the movie was interesting. And like I said at the beginning, I probably will never watch this again. It wasn't something that I would watch again.
That's a shame.
I'm glad you watched it.
I think it's really enjoyable.
I don't know. It was okay. I actually liked the movie that they were watching. I thought that was way better. Where that was going.
Wow.
That was more interesting, I thought. But it was cool how they did have it match up with the movie that they were watching, and things were happening, and they saw what was going to happen, to them basically in the end. But yeah, I don't know. It was just a strange movie. The effects were pretty cool. I like all that kind of stuff. That kind of like the Evil Deadish type, claymation type effects. I like that stuff. So that was cool.
It is a film that you'd probably have to watch with a group of people.
Yeah,
ordering a couple of pizzas, having a couple of beers, and just chilling out and laughing at it. I mean, I could watch this film repeatedly, just by myself, and even with Joe Bob Briggs' commentary on the last drive-in, which they actually covered this film, and I will say he definitely, his commentary added to the greatness of the episode and the movie experience. I mean, I'm a Joe Bob Briggs fan, so much love to him and Darcy the Mail Girl. Plus, my friend John Brennan, who used to work for Trauma, is one of the producers of the show. So big shout out to him.
Cool. Yeah, and I also too, I could see this being done by Mystery Science Theater, and I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more.
They did a lot of Italian films actually on that show. They stayed away from the gory horror though. Right.
Yeah, they couldn't have done this with that. I mean, with the new stuff that they do, maybe, but not back in the day with the Mystery Science Theater, because
Joe Bob is more suited to it anyway.
But agreed. I could just see them doing something with this movie, at some point, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it wasn't terrible. But yeah,
that's great. It's awesome. I mean, about the only thing I can really say is disappointing about this, but then again, it works in the Evil Dead sense, is with how over the top and shit the gore is in this one. Lamberto Bava has said that even though Dario produced this, he was pretty much hands off throughout the whole thing. What I was going to say was Argento's films before this, everything looked a little bit more realistic, but I think it works for this because it ends up being unintentionally campy, but that's what makes it great.
Yeah. That was one other thing I was afraid of too, because I'm not a huge horror movie watcher. And when things get a little too out of hand, a little too gory and stuff like that, I don't get squeamish or anything. It's just I just don't like that kind of stuff. But this didn't really bother me too much. It was a little bit more on the goofy side, especially when they started dripping all that stuff out of their mouths and things like that. It was less,
Oh yeah, laugh more than anything. White head explodes.
Yeah. That just made me a little, sick to my stomach a little bit more than anything. But it was more of a laugh and stuff like that in this movie, so it wasn't too bad.
I appreciate the fact that you watched.
Disappointment is, I really wish she would have eaten his eyeballs like grapes, but that didn't happen.
What was that?
I appreciate the fact that you watched it with an open mind, Wayne. That makes me very happy.
Yeah, no, I wanted to watch it. I like to watch movies, especially if I haven't seen it before, and if I know how much you liked it. So I was gonna have to watch this and hope that I liked it as much as you do. I don't, but it's okay. It's not that bad.
I'm actually kind of jealous that Lou got to discover it when the DVDs were out already. I found this on VHS originally. Watched it until the tape broke. I got those DVDs when they first put them out, but yeah, I had no idea what I was in for. The cover looked cool and it mentioned accept on the video box, and that was good enough for me to steal from the video store.
Nice. I still have my copy of that box set, by the way. Still have it to this day. Not getting rid of it. I mean, I know the Blu-rays are out, but I am forever connected to that box set of Demons 1 and 2, just because, I don't know. I mean, for me, it was like, knowing how rare it was to purchase Dario Argento films or even Lucio Fulci films back then, it's like I couldn't part with them at all. So
Fulci, I really didn't get into that much, but that's a conversation for another day. Because that's going to take a while, but we can totally do it.
I'm down. I know Wayne's not, but I'm down.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
Lucio Fulci is considered the Godfather of Gore. His films are very visceral, as opposed to Argento's, which are more psychological in nature.
So I probably wouldn't like his movies.
No, you wouldn't.
No, probably not.
No, you would hate Suspiria, I'm pretty sure, even though I think it's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Did you see the remake?
I saw part of it, but I fell asleep and haven't bothered watching it again since, but I think it's still on demand.
It was different than the first one, but I respected what they were trying to do. It wasn't that they were retelling Suspiria, based on what the first film was about, but different. It's an approach. And I'm not the biggest Radiohead fan in the world. I like some of their songs, so I thought Tom York did a great job with the score. Not Goblin by any means whatsoever, but still good.
It was okay, but like I said, I fell asleep about 3/4 of the way through and decided, it's not really worth my time right now. I'll get back to it eventually. It was okay, but it doesn't really try to be better or even try to be the original movie. It kind of takes the idea and does its own thing with it. So, yeah, like you were saying, I respect him for doing that. It just didn't do much for me.
Oh, it sounds familiar. I wonder if my wife might have watched it one day. Maybe on Netflix. I don't know. Let's go to Demons 2.
Hey, wait! There's something weird here.
which is probably a letdown for most
Subtitle:
people.
Beating a Dead Horse.
Well, letdown for most people. I'm going to have to disagree with the letdown. I think this movie was more put together because I think even though it's pretty much identical to the first movie, except they're not sitting in a movie theater; they're in a apartment building.
Yeah, an apartment building with the TV show, which in and of itself could be a very interesting idea for something different, but I understand that the storyline's a little bit more linear here and kind of follows along. But Lou, I wanted to get your opinion on this because Wayne keeps saying it makes more sense to him, which I really don't get because in the first one, really the only plot hole you can't tie up is that helicopter that just falls through the ceiling.
Correct.
But in this one, there's a lot of subplots that just don't go anywhere. A lot of stupid exposition dialogue that is just absurd. Like, it's pretty easy to tell that little 8-year-old boy is home by himself from the fact he's walking around eating cereal or whatever it was in an apartment watching TV alone around dinner time. But no, to hammer the point home, the phone has to ring. He has to pick it up. Yes. Hello? Yes, I am home alone. Okay, bye. Come on, guys.
Wayne, I got to give it to him. There's too much exposition in this film for its own good that goes nowhere.
Oh, there's a ton of it. And then the other side to that is they give these characters more screen time, but they don't attempt to make them more than a one-dimensional character, which didn't matter in the first one because it was enough for them to be an archetype. George was the hero, Tony was this warrior that came out and did that. But you follow this pregnant woman around this apartment for about a half hour's worth of screen time of the movie. And other than when she's fighting the little ghoulie demon, because it really does look like the fish ghoulie. Lou probably knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
But she doesn't even talk. There's no real exposition. It's just her going, oh, I hope George gets back. Oh, the lights are off. Well, the lights are off sometimes to build tension, but when everything starts going all stroby, do you notice all the ceiling lights are working?
Well, that's the demons making all that stuff.
Yeah. I suppose so. I gotta admit, you can call me on that there. If I could chalk up the bricks you were so confused about in the first one of Demons, we might as well put the lights to it too.
Yeah, I think so. That's what made me make this movie a little bit better, because now I understood what these demons can actually do. So now I get it now.
It's an interesting point.
Yeah. Lou, since these are your movies, give us a backstory on this one.
I mean, again, when I purchased Demons 1, this came along with it, so it was a whole box set. So I watched them in sequence. And I enjoyed it, and I'm a fan of 80s new wave, so it was cool to have heard, I think the Smiths are in it, and, I was upset that Rain by the Cult, which is my favorite Cult song ever, only got like a snippet of airtime in the film, and I was like, wow, I could have used a little bit more of that, but, I mean, really, what would it have added to the story?
Right.
I mean,
right.
The ironic thing is, though, about Demons 2 is that in some territories it actually was shown in theaters before Demons 1. So in some places Demons 2 is Demons 1 and the first Demons is the sequel. So but that's always been the problem with like Italian films and distribution, is that sometimes things fall through because like if you think about it, the company, who was the company that released it? It was Titanus. Okay, who's heard of that? Nobody. A lot of the Italian films that came out at that time were, for all intents and purposes, independent productions. So when they would try to bring them to film markets, it was like, okay, what's the most amount of money we could get to sell this film to this territory? And what do distributors want first? So in that case, since both films were pretty much shot back to back, which is why a lot of the actors from the first film show up in the second one, especially Bobby Rhodes.
Also, essentially the same story.
Yes, that's why in some territories, Demons 2 came out first. Not a bad film, in my opinion. Too much exposition where it's like I couldn't keep up, but then when I realized they all died anyway, I was like, never mind. I wasn't as emotionally invested in the characters in this one as I was the first one, because it's like, I don't know, there was no dude on the back of a Harley with chopping demons' heads off with a machete to the tune of "Passes a Shark from Accept."
Yeah, no, there was none of that. But
it would have been cool if they could have topped that.
Yeah, there was that guy.
Blast a tank through the apartment building. I mean, who knows?
There was that guy. I think his name was Jacob, who that the main girl that was having that birthday party, whatever. She didn't want him to come to the party, and then she told that guy to go outside. And the guy's outside throughout the whole entire movie, and you're waiting to see what this guy Jacob is going to be like. And he finally shows up, and he's in the car again with a bunch of other people and driving around like a maniac or whatever. And at the end towards the end of the movie, he ends up getting into a car accident with the little boy's mother, and then they never finished that story.
They're dead. What's the finish?
Were they? No, they weren't dead.
Oh, that's right.
They didn't die. They just they all got out of the cars, but they just got into a car crash, and that was the end of that. And then the ambulance came out of nowhere in like 2 seconds. Like how? They don't have cell phones back then.
Story has nothing to do with anything anyway. It's just this
I know.
Interlude. At least the punks in the first one are fucking funny, and eventually they make their way to the theater. You just watch this guy be an asshole to this girl, and the idiots in the back seat laugh at it for about 20 minutes. Then they hit another car and they disappear.
And the whole time I've never gotten into an accident. Well, what the hell did you think was going to happen at some point in the movie? He was going to get into an accident.
Oh, that wasn't a dead giveaway.
Yeah, I know.
Did anybody notice though that the punk driving the car from the first film was a security guard?
It's a security guard. Yeah. I was waiting
for him to say, "Fuck you, pick it up."
I know when the movie started too. It was almost half of the same people from the first movie, and that was kind of confusing to me too, because I didn't realize, I figured this movie was going to start where the first one ended, with those people in the Jeep.
Oh, you thought it was a direct.
Right, and Greg said it does, and I must have missed it somehow.
It does, though.
They were there.
The TV movie in this is George and the survivalist in the Jeep from the end of the first one.
That I missed. I don't know how I missed that.
Wait a minute. How do you figure that? Because both characters' names is George?
No, the fake movie that's playing on TV in this, the movie within the movie, instead of being about Nostradamus like in the first one, it's about George from the end of the first movie and the people he got away with in the Jeep. It's clearly them on the television fighting demons.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I don't know why I didn't put two and two together. Okay.
I didn't either. I did not realize that. But still, they didn't continue the story with them, fighting.
No, I also feel like in this one, the practical effects don't look as good. I feel like they spent all their money
on the first movie.
on the snowy head coming out of the TV at Sally.
I did notice that there was no drooling. There was no things coming out of their mouths this time. It was more makeup and stuff on this one with the demons. I think.
Yes, and the same shot constantly of the same blood dripping through the same piece of floor. But for several different apartments.
By the way, can we say nepotism, having two of Dario Argento's daughters, one in each film?
Yeah.
Which was his daughter?
Asia Argento was Ingrid in this film.
The girl
in the previous film, it was Fiore Argento as Hannah, who was the girl that was crawling through the crawl space who kills her boyfriend.
To continue to talk because I forgot to actually plug my computer and it's dying. Be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, even though there's no guy riding around on a motorbike decapitating people to accept, I did really like the everyone in the gym and getting stuck in the garage. I thought that was pretty good and satisfying how that turned out and how it all went together. That was the best part of the whole movie for me.
For me as well. I have to admit that whole series in the not series. I don't that segue in the it's not even a segue. That part of the film I thought was pretty impressive. It was an interesting take on how could we have the demons torture these people? And again, the fact that no one made it out alive, it's like, you feel bad for them, but this is a film about demons killing people, so that's what you want to see.
Exactly. And then one of the things that bothers my sense of logic is I would have liked for just 10 seconds that one of those people in that garage, instead of banging the hell out of that door with that axe, would have at least tried to pull the manual release. I mean, come on, it was great.
Again,
but
a lot of things.
They have to be massacred by demons, so ultimately, I don't mind. The shotgun and the Molotov cocktails make up for it a little bit, but that dude was banging on that door with that axe so hard he looked like he was going to break his shoulders, standing right next to the manual release cable.
Again, you have to defy all logic when watching Italian horror films, just because if you don't, you're going to lose your mind. You have to accept what's on the screen as is. Do not overanalyze it.
Hey, and that the same thing goes with most horror movies. There's very few of the Friday the 13th that made any sense.
Yeah, actually, I just saw something with the Friday the 13th movie. There's a scene, and I think they took it out in the DVD version or whatever. But in the original version, there's a scene where Freddy is actually on the floor already, and he gets up and then turns around and then gets her or whatever, gets this girl. I forget which scene it's in, but the girl walks right past him and he's sitting right there on the floor, and you see it.
You mean A Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah.
Okay, I said Friday the 13th there, dude.
Okay, you did. All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is why I don't watch horror.
So which movie are you talking about? The first one?
I am talking about the
One?
Nightmare. No, I forget which one it is. I saw it on TikTok. Somebody put it on TikTok. It's one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
What a great news source.
Shut up. No, but I thought that was interesting because you don't really hear too many mistakes being in those movies, and seeing.
Have you not read the goofs section in the IMDb?
I don't.
There's tons of them. There's boom mics being shown. Freaking.
I'm not a horror guy, so I don't know much about this stuff.
It doesn't have to be just horror films. I mean, part of the reason to watch it. I admit at one point when I was a film student, part of the reason why I loved watching some films is because I was counting the goofs and seeing, let's see what they got away with and didn't realize, Yeah.
Dude, Wayne doesn't realize it, but boom mic drops show up a lot.
Oh, those, you see that all the
major motion pictures, like A-list movies.
Those I see all the time. Yeah, but just
or
the thing
camera reflections.
Yeah.
Yes.
But things like with the Freddy thing, he's sitting in the scene already. He's really not supposed to be there. I thought that was kind of funny. But getting back to the Demons movie, I felt so bad for the little kid. He's all alone by himself, trying not to get demonized, and then he ended up getting it anyway. And and then when he's knocking on that door and that pregnant woman's door, and then she opens the door and he's in between the door. He looks like that midget Willow from that movie Willow.
Yeah.
He looked like
again though, I was thinking of the midget zombie from Return of the Living Dead that just comes running up in the
I don't know, man. After watching Dawn of the Dead, when kids turn zombies, no, can't feel bad for that.
No.
And in a lot of Italian horror films, the kids are annoying. I mean, they really, and I say that as a father of a 3-year-old, but the kids in Italian horror films are fucking annoying.
Well, that kid wasn't annoying. He was pretty cool.
No, he.
What?
It was annoying that his parents just left him home alone.
I know. That was that kid was what? Maybe like 9-10 years old, if that.
Who leaves a 9-10-year-old kid home by himself at night?
No, not at all. So that was weird.
I also love how the mother goes to call later and the phone's working again, but that's beside the point.
Oh yeah, that is true.
But I rewound it and counted just because I was curious. I believe that phone rings a total of 17 times before she suddenly hangs up. What kind of mother are you where you're not like, something's probably wrong? But no, I'm just going to hang up and go back to dinner.
And the father didn't give a shit either. And the other funny thing, that kid did not look like either of his parents.
No, you don't.
Neither one of them had brown hair or were Mexican.
Ooh, I love the demon that halfway pops out of the dog and then is like wearing its fur as a suit for the movie. That was pretty cool.
That was that scene too. The dog, she sees the dog turning into something. Oh, that's actually happened in all these movies. These people see the demons coming out of these people and they just stand there and scream. They don't move.
You know, though, I used to make that point a lot too until I realized through taking psychology classes and other stuff like that. Yeah. A lot of human beings in situations like that, average people are going to fucking freeze up, you know?
I guess, you know, scared stiff. I guess that's where that would come from. But I don't know. My first instinct would be to run, you know, not just stand there.
But would you be able to in a state of shock like that?
My instinct is always to run.
It actually happens.
I always run. I might not be able to run that fast, but I'm running. Especially when I see a dog.
To get him with a good prank, Lou. See what happens.
Hasn't happened yet. But seeing that dog, like in the next room, she had 2 doors she could have shut before she got to the last door. And yet she kept them all open.
Yeah, I know. I love how when she's got a clear path to the front door when its nose is first starting to melt, she's trying to break the fucking window, which we all know is bulletproof and unbreakable, instead of just running for the door.
Oh my God, these people are really pissing me off.
And they all die.
They all die. They all die.
95% of them deserved it.
But 2 survived and 1 was born. So congratulations to the happy married couple.
Wayne said he didn't pick up on this, but I could swear I heard it. I swear at the beginning of the movie when he's talking about his wife with whoever it is, I swear he says she's 3 months pregnant.
He did.
Yep. And then all of a sudden she's giving birth. That was a quick fucking 9 months, man. Them people were trapped in that garage for a long time without resorting to ambulance.
Or was she knocked up 6 months before he knew? And he's not the father.
Let's not give him more credit than they actually thought about here.
Someone call Maury Povich. Let's find out.
And I was expecting her to have that baby and it being a demon. Because if you read the description of the movie,
that would have been funny.
Right.
That's kind of how I thought it was going to end. I mean, not that really anything Argento was involved in is ever predictable per se. That is just how I thought they would have ended it. The baby being a demon, especially since Lamberto wanted to set up a 3rd movie so bad. That's really honestly how I was expecting it to end.
Yeah. I was too, especially, you know, at the end when they're holding the baby. I'm like, all right, when is this baby going to be a demon? And it never did. So that was kind of a letdown a little bit. And also in the description of the movie, it even said that it was a demon baby. So I guess the demon baby was the kid that was alone.
Well, I think it might have been the ripoff of the chest burster that came flying out of him and turned into a fish ghoulie. That kind of seemed like a baby demon.
Yeah, I guess I'll take that one.
Neat idea, but dude, that thing looks so much like the fish ghoulie that pops out of the toilet in Ghoulies.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I agree. But the interesting thing, though, is that
God, what is that guy's name? Giancarlo Bucceller didn't work on the effects on this at all, did he?
Who was this?
Giancarlo Bucceller.
Let me take a look.
Who did Ghoulies? Because Empire Pictures was in Rome at this time too.
Giancarlo Beretti, the makeup artist.
Yep. Okay. He could have reused one of the puppets.
It's possible. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Mystery solved.
What were you going to say, Lou?
I was going to say the interesting thing about this film, pertaining to what Greg was saying, was that Bava wanted to create another sequel to this film. It was supposed to be a Demons 3. I think it was Night in the House of Demons or whatever, but he ended up making The Church instead.
Yeah, Dario wanted to call it Night of the House of the Demons instead of Demons 3. He really didn't want to try to connect it to these first two directly because he felt it wouldn't be successful. Because he felt they did everything they could with this story already. Yeah.
So the funny thing is, because the Italian horror film industry is, well, petty, for lack of a better term, other directors decided, I'm making my own sequel. So then you had Umberto Lenzi and a bunch of other directors make, standalone sequels to Demons. And apparently in total, there's 6 Demons films.
Really?
And because Michele Soave, who was associated with Demons 1, directed Della Morte dell'Amore, they tried to make that Demons 7.
Oh,
good Lord.
I'm glad we didn't watch all those.
No, I wouldn't. I care about you guys too much. I wouldn't have done that.
You'll get me to watch Surf Nazis Must Die again before you'd ever get me to watch all 6 of those.
I'll gladly watch that film. You know, that was written by Dookie Fleischwater of Haunted Garage.
Yeah, I know who's written. I loved it when I was younger. I watched it twice in recent years, and it is just a terrible, awful movie. I can't enjoy it anymore. Well, it's not even likely bad. It's just bad.
It's pretty bad. Well, I will say this, though. He did write the script to one of my favorite horror comedies, Blood Diner, which one of my future episodes is actually going to have Carl Crew, who played one of the leads in that film, George Namtut. I actually interviewed him for my show. I'm going to warn everybody right now. He's a great guy, eccentric, and he doesn't hold back. So if any of you out there are of weak constitution, meaning you're sensitive as shit, don't watch it.
That sounds like a cool interview. How'd you get that?
We're friends on Facebook. And I told him I was a fan of his work. He played Jeffrey Dahmer in a film called The Secret Life of Jeffrey Dahmer, which, for all intents and purposes, felt like a grindhouse film, and it was a good watch. But this actually got him on Maury Povich, him and the director, and they were lambasted by the parents and family members of the victims of Jeffrey Dahmer. And, and they were saying, how could you show this? How could you do this film? And you're showing this and this and this. And he's like, that's not even in the film. And we changed the names around to protect the innocents. You guys haven't even seen the movie. So I was like, oh, I thought it was cool he did a film about Dahmer. I mean, how many films out there are about serial killers that happen in real life? Half of them you can watch on Lifetime channel, for God's sakes. So it's like, I was happy to have him on the show, and Carl's a great guy, and I just hope people watch it with an open mind and just take it easy, okay? So just watch it, but watch his film Blood Diner, one of the best horror comedies of the 1980s.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I'll look for it.
I'll choose that over any of the Demon sequels, except for La Chiesa, The Church. That was a good one.
Yeah, even though I don't really consider that a sequel.
Standalone sequel. I knew it was supposed to be Demons 3, so that's the only reason why I would even correlate them. But you're right, it's not a direct sequel.
No, and it's a much higher quality film too.
I'll have to look that one up, maybe watch that one too. The other thing with that last demon, that was kind of weird because he was holding the baby, and you think, oh, the demon's gonna grab the guy and the baby, and thankfully she didn't. But then she just goes to the floor and says she's blind, But when was that an issue throughout any of these movies about these zombies being blind? Never. The blind guy in the first movie actually caused the first
helicopter. That's all I have to say.
Bravissimo.
So I thought that was weird. And then with the zombie coming through the television, he just smashes all the TVs.
Demon.
Yeah,
Demon.
Sorry. The demon on the televisions, and he smashes all the TVs, and that's the end of it.
El Demone, no zombie.
Sorry. They all look like zombies, but demon. Yeah, so I thought that was weird too. But yeah,
I think the one decent offshoot of these two films, some people say that the American film Night of the Demons with Linnea Quigley was directly influenced by this film. I could see that. I could also see how it's different in terms of its storyline, but that's a good one that I'd recommend too.
There's certain elements I can definitely see, but not so much the whole storyline. Night of the Demons definitely goes on its own there, but there's different aspects to the story, certain character quirks and things like that they kind of incorporate into that movie. But I love Night of the Demons. That's a good movie.
Oh, the other funny thing was, and Greg mentioned this before with the gas line.
Oh, yeah.
In the stairway.
Dude, you couldn't. That would not be a little mini explosion like that. Everyone in that stairwell would have died. That would have been gigantic. You can't just break a gas main like that, hold a lighter to it, and expect this little flamethrower flame to come out to kill those 6 demons. Bullshit.
Again, helicopter.
Yeah.
We know, but come on. We need some realistic stuff in this.
That's our code word for when things don't make sense anymore. Helicopter.
I will do that.
Exactly. Helicopter.
That's going to be it. Oh my God. Well, Lou, thank you very much for turning us onto these movies.
No problem.
Turning me onto these movies is very interesting, and I'm glad I got to watch them. Like I said, I'm not a huge horror guy, but I will watch something that somebody suggests to watch, and I'm glad I got to watch these. They were fun. Me and my wife had a good laugh.
I am happy that my first pick was one of my favorite Italian horror films ever, and Demons 2. It's a direct sequel.
Yeah, good.
But I definitely recommend. Sorry, Greg, go ahead.
No, it was good picks. It was a really fun one. I'm glad I got to revisit these. And it was definitely outside of the box.
Thank you. This puts a huge smile on my face. I do recommend, though, if anyone wants to watch them, they are available on the Shudder app.
And I'll give Lou Mavs passwords here. Just write a pencil, get a paper and pencil, and write this down.
Okay, ready? Bite me. But I recommend if you do get the Shudder app, watch them as standalone films, but also watch them during Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs commentary. Very funny. So,
yeah, good stuff. And I'm glad too that the movies weren't very long. They were like 80, 90-ish minutes or so. So
no, that's typical of Italian horror films. Just get everything in there in less than an hour and a half and send people home happy. Give them what they want to see.
Well, that they did their job on that, because any longer than that, I don't know if I would have lasted.
I could have still seen more demon deaths, but
Yeah, I could have done with less exposition, more demons killing people or getting killed themselves. That elevator was totally underutilized.
Mm-hmm. When I watch these films, yes, the storyline is important, but knowing that it's supposed to be visually like out there, that's kind of what I'm looking for. And in my opinion, the first one definitely delivered. The second one too, but the first one more.
Interesting. For me, the second one was better.
It's fine.
But I understand what you're saying. They were both okay. If you've never seen these movies, go watch them. They're interesting. Like I said, I like the visual effects too. That was the best part of it.
Cool.
That was pretty cool. So I thank you very much, Lou, for your first Rat Salad review pick. of
Thank
Demons.
you, Mr. Noon.
Demons 1, Demons 2.
Thank you, Mr. Noggle.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Mavs.
And next week, we're going to have Greg's pick.
Yes, Trick or Treat. One of my favorite movies of all time that has a soundtrack by Fastway, one of my favorite bands.
Featuring the late, great Fast Eddie Clark with a sellout son of a bitch who's now in a punk rock band.
Yeah, fucking Dave King. And also starring Skippy from Family Ties as the
really?
Ragman. Yeah, Mark Pierce plays the main character.
Now, is Ozzy and Gene Simmons in this movie as well?
Yes,
They are, but they just do quick cameo appearances. They not in the original film campaign, but later on when they released it on VHS and then DVD, they greatly inflated how big of a role those two play. It looks like to sell copies of the movie.
Yeah, Ozzy's picture from the No More Tears era is on the cover of the DVD.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And I'm like, do you realize he's only in the movie for like less than 5 minutes?
Yeah, but his little role is very entertaining.
All right, yeah, I don't want to give anything away, but like those song lyrics that he read, I was cracking up. I was like, are these the lyrics to Lick My Love Pump by Spinal Tap?
Sounds like something Ozzy would write without Bob Daisley's help.
Yeah. Well, I
That's
haven't
right.
watched
Bob
it yet.
Daisley wrote the lyrics to the first 5 Ozzy albums, people.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know any of this stuff. So we'll talk about this next week. I can't wait, and hopefully James will join us. He'll actually watch that movie. We'll see what happens. Lou, where can we find you and Music is Life podcast?
Find me over at musicisLifepodcast.com. And as always, I'm spreading the good word of ratsidreview.com. Also, Wayne, if I could plug the podcast that I was just interviewed on.
Of course.
So
You only mentioned me about 20,000 times, so go ahead.
So I was recently asked to be on the Invest Yourself, the podcast series hosted by Phil Better. It's all about, investing in yourself as an entrepreneur or, as a podcaster. So I contacted Phil through a podcast Facebook page. He sent an email out and I responded, got along great, did about a 45-minute interview with him. And it's out. Then the name of the episode actually is called "Rocking Out with Musicians with Lou Mavs." It's a pretty catchy title, and I just want to thank Phil for having me on the show. Just basically talking about how I got into podcasting, what I'm doing now, how much I enjoy it, and just hope to be doing this for a while. So,
Awesome.
We hope to be. Yes, it was a very good episode. I actually listened to it before we did this, so it was very cool.
cool, thanks.
You don't do too many podcasts about yourself, so it was cool.
Yeah, but I made it a point to mention my homies, you, Wayne, Greg, my roundtable of Bob Mango and Matt Micolo, and just a handful of other people who were important to me. So like I said in the podcast, be grateful for the people who are there with you on your way up, because you sure as hell want them when you're on the decline.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'm far from the fucking decline.
Not even close.
We are far from the decline. 680 subs on Rodside Review. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
insane.
thank you.
I mean, for the content that we've been doing lately too, I don't really expect to get this much growth, but to see that there's been a lot of people that have been watching these latest episodes with
Well, here we go. I've got a cat.
We got a cat, so I'll tag cats in our description.
On this episode of Cat Style Review.
Cats.
But yeah, with the last episode that we did with Celio Azevedo, that was really cool. And those numbers are up on that show. And with the band Into the Strange, that was really cool too. And those numbers are up too. So I really appreciate seeing everybody, watching our content and subscribing. So it's really cool.
And we promise to vet all our guests from now on. Please do not drop any political shit on our show ever again. Thank you. We're not a political podcast.
Yeah, no political stuff here. I try not to anyway. But hey, sometimes it happens. If you want to listen to podcasts, yeah, you can listen to ratsaladreview.com. But if you want to listen to political podcasts, you can listen to The Right Opinion. All right. So,
Plug.
Yep. We will see you guys next week. RatSaladReview.com. Check out all our other shows. Like I just said, The Right Opinion, Suck My Balls, Music is Life with Lou Mavs, Old Man Metal's Musings, and I think I'm forgetting somebody.
Sporadically 3D.
Sporadically 3D, which is a good name for that show because it's sporadic. All right, and I think that's it. We will see you guys next week when we talk about Trick or Treat. See ya.
Demoni.
What?